The number one reason your healthy diet is secretly sabotaging you. All right, let's get right to it. No fluff. I'm talking about the number one reason your healthy diet is secretly holding you hostage. And just so we're clear, this is my personal opinion for education, not medical advice. Now, if you're crushing kale smoothies, loading up on salmon and thinking that you're on the fast track to God mode, but you're still bloated, you're exhausted, you're running on brain fog, so thick that you could cut it with a knife. Listen up. You might be lighting a slow burn fuse that's wrecking your body from the inside, and it's not your fault. You've been lied to by an army of gurus who miss the single biggest variable in the game. It's called food cross interference. And today, we're going to expose this hidden villain. See, you think a superfood is always a superfood. Wrong. That's like thinking every soldier on the battlefield is on your team. Some can be double agents. You grab that salmon for its brain-boosting DHA, great mood, right? Well, not if you have rosacea. See, that same healthy fat can sort of light up your skin like a Christmas tree. So you're taking one step forward, and then there's two steps back. You're piling on kale, the king of greens, except, and here's the plot twist, it's packed with goitrogens. See, if your thyroid is even just a little bit sluggish, or if you're low on iodine, you're basically telling your metabolism to take a nap. So what's going to happen? Energy crash, brain fog to the max. This is what I'm talking about. This is cross interference in action. In other words, one food's magic potion for, say, migraines becomes a poison for PCOS. So you have broccoli's DIM is a hormone balancing boss. But unless your thyroid is sensitive, then it's a potential energy saboteur. See, here's the thing. Your healthy diet isn't a clean plan. It's sort of a chaotic battlefield, and you're losing because you can't even see the enemy. So here's the truth bomb. Diet versus disease. That's the real cage match. Now, let's talk real world chaos. This isn't theory. This is what I see in my practice every single day. Picture this. You got gout and diabetes. So that's a tag team from hell. So what do? You eat cherries, and that's a uric acid lowering legend for gout, all right? But there's the natural sugar. That sends your blood glucose on a roller coaster. So you solve one problem, but you created another since you have diabetes. Or how about eczema plus anxiety? You snack on peanuts, but there's arachidonic acid that can inflame your skin and your mood. So now you got a double whammy of misery from just a handful of nuts. See, this is what I'm talking about. The Lancet, their research says that poor diet is the top global killer. It's actually outpacing smoking. And when most people are juggling multiple conditions, it's usually not just one condition. See, it'd be really easy if you have one condition and you say, okay, what's the best diet for that condition? And even that, it's like, here's a couple foods that are good. Maybe avoid this food. You want to know the whole picture. See, because when you're juggling these multiple conditions, clean eating literally becomes a minefield. You think you're doing a great job, but your energy tanks, the scale won't budge. You feel like you're going crazy, all because one healthy food is pulling double duty as that saboteur. That's where the problem is. So what's the answer? Well, here it is. You got to upgrade to FoodPharmacy. That's your anti-sabotage shield. So how do you win this war? Well, First off, you just stop guessing. You got to bring in, air support. You bring in FoodPharmacy. I developed FoodPharmacy to allow technology to work for you. This way, you work smarter, not harder, to reach your wellness goals. This isn't your grandma's meal planner or even your general guidance that you typically get from your typical health practitioner. This is an elite, algorithm-driven beast that I developed that cracks the cross-interference code wide open. So we're analyzing hundreds of conditions and foods in a matter of seconds. And so it's generating this hyper-personalized food prescription. We're talking color-coded tactical guidance. It's like green for go. These are your ideal preferred foods. You have black for neutral. That's the bystanders. It's not going to have much of an effect of helping metabolic pathways or harming those metabolic pathways. And then you have the caution. It's in italics. That's the curveballs. Those are, you want to be cautionary with these ones. And then there's red for stop. That's the villain. That's like dairy's casein for eczema. So in other words, you input, whatever the conditions is. If it's 2, 3, 4, 5 conditions, like if you have migraines, you have PCOS, you input that, then seconds later, you have an entire plan right there. So salmon's out, flax seeds, lignans are in to soothe both without any type of a clash. So here you can soothe these things without having any type of a problem. And it's all backed by research, and it's built for results. Here's the thing. Big Pharma wants to sell you quick fix flops with basically a CVS receipt long list of side effects. What I'm interested in the root cause. My goal is to start a wellness revolution where everyone has the tools to thrive. See, here's the bottom line. If you're still winging it with healthy foods, that's adorable. But it's time to wake up. This isn't just a better plan. It's like bringing a precision-guided missile to a world of blunt kitchen knives. You got to arm yourself with food intelligence that spots those saboteurs, builds your empire of wellness. So are you ready to ditch the guesswork and unlock the secret? Well, head to Technologies.ai and dive into the revolution. And if you're serious, pair it with Weight Loss Direct for a metabolic meltdown powered by the same next level intelligence. So hit subscribe, smash that like button, and drop cross interference crushed in the comments if you're in. All right, boom! Unleashing a health revolution with FoodPharmacy and Technologies.ai.